Hey guys, so what's up? And today we're just gonna be making a fountain, a homemade fountain, DIY fountain you can do yourself, for like a decoration or something. And essentially things we'll need is a pump. As you can see, it has a nice suction cups at the bottom. You'll need a lot of straws. You'll need a drill. If you don't, you can use a scissor. But if you're using a drill, get parental advice. Different sized drill bits. Pretty good sized cup. Maybe a little smaller cup. If you have don't have a bigger cup than this, or one just too small, take the biggest cup you have and cut it so you can have two different cups. The width I'm using is 1/4 the drill. And like I said, well maybe I did, you can use a nice scissor and make a little hole. If it's too big, get some hot glue and then just seal it up. So now we can make a hole. So let me just attach the drill. Okay, now we can make a hole. Now I've made a nice, pretty good hole. And let's see if this will fit. Alright, so it's nice and snuggle, right? We're going to want to drill a hole into the very edge. And we're going to want to do that where the pump is. So let me just mark this hole where the hole is going to be. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. And one thing you're going to want to check is that because there's all different sizes of the straws, right? You're going to want to check if this can fit. Sadly, my straws are almost exact width of or circumference as this pump valve. So what we're going to want to do is, I learned this trick where if you cut a nice slit into the side, hopefully you can see, like this, you can it'll kind of fold on itself to make it a little smaller. So now, when I try to get this in, it'll fit nicely. Now, I've tested this already. It works, but we're gonna have to secure it. And I don't want to secure it with hot glue, because that means I can't have any other projects using with this pump. And you don't want to waste that kind of money. So what I'm going to do is actually tape it. And it's not big enough to slit, so just going to make a little there. So then it fits nicely. Pretty good. Like that. Fits nice. Snuggle. Now, if you want to make it a little bigger, you can. To just see how much this can go in so it can fit nicely. And I think we reached the limit here. Okay? So now that's nicely snuggled in. And I don't want to use hot glue, so we're just going to wait. But now, we have to make a hole in this plate. So now let's do that. And then drill the hole where it's supposed to be. Make a little dent. Guys, so I've just cut this straw here, and now let's see how this will turn out, and see if we made the right size. And if we did, this is probably the size you're looking for, so try getting it as much as you can, or the exact precision, but hopefully this works. Alright, I think we've made it just right into the cup. I'm going to take this bendy part and cut it off because I don't want it too long. We're not too short. I'm going to extend this completely. See that? And I'm going to go through this hole. And I want to face it upwards. But if I face it upwards, the water's not going to go through, it's just going to overfill. So I can't really do that. But I don't want it to just go down like this. So I'm going to kind of make it, come on, okay. So then it will kind of go like this. You see what kind of, can you kind of see what we're doing here? Hopefully you can. If not, we're just basically having this pump down here. It's going to shoot water into this cup. It's going to fill up until the straw, it's going to pour out. The water is going to fill up. We're going to have another straw on the other side coming out. And then we're going to have a Lego slide that we're going to use to make it come back down here. Hopefully it works. If not, we can improvise. So now we've got our main points down, but I don't want to super hot glue everything yet. But what I am going to hot glue is this. So take your hot glue, and if you don't know and you're really worried about using hot glue, or if you are a pretty young child and you want to do this, take adult supervision, just to be safe. If you used it many times like me, and you think it was okay, proceed with caution. Alright, so now I've super glued that on the outside, but I need to super glue it on the inside, otherwise the inside is not going to be waterproof. So as you can see, I've made a little hole and the straw can't fit. But I'm going to want to get a new straw because I want that bendy part, right? Remember? So now I'm just going to hot glue this like that. Relax. Hot glue these two plastic parts together again, just to make sure it's water safe. And at the bottom, now what we're going to do is try filling up this hole. Alright, and you want to set it to high just because of this reason. Now, quickly, we're going to have to cut this into a good size. Some good leeway, and we're going to have to penetrate through this. And now you're going to leave it on high. This is exactly why you leave it on high, because you want it to be able to get in there. And then now to seal this up, nice hot glue. Okay. Now we've done a pretty good job. That'll do. So far, we've made good progress, and I'll see you tomorrow. Change of plans for the fountain. So, what I did here is I put another straw, do the same thing, just drill a hole, or use it with scissors and hot glue it nicely. Remember, if you're using a drill, have to use parental supervision. And this cup. So what you now want to do is you want to hot glue this around the edge here, just to make sure that it's secure and doesn't come off. And now I've done the same with this, and here's an example of how to do it. So you're going to take your cup and you're just going to go around the edge. Now that you got it around the edge, make sure this straw is under this cup. So what we're going to do is align it nicely. Here, like this. So now this is just have to let sit and cool down. So basically, the water is going to come into this cup. It's going to rise until it reaches the straws under here. it'll come out, it'll empty into both of these cups, right? It'll fill up again, and then it'll go up, go out. And then we'll have this little measuring cup that we have. You can use this, or you can take one of these cups and make it and slice it so it's a little smaller. But I'd rather it being clear, because what we're going to do is that we're going to drill a hole into the bottom of this, right? So then it'll kind of make like a vortex, a small vortex that's going down back into the container. And now what you want to test is that if these containers are waterproof. But first, we have to get the straw into the bottom. So I don't want to do it quite yet, but remember, keep hold of the straw. So now what we're going to do is take this and drill a hole. So let me do so. Alright guys, so I've come back, and as you can see, I have drilled a hole. And I used the same drill bit I used for the straws, and I used the same drill bit for this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hot glue these together. But remember, we have to be pretty precise. So what we're going to do is the same thing as that cup. We're going to go, but since this is all even, we can go around in like a zigzag. So not the best zigzag, but do any pattern. But just make sure there's enough hot glue to make it pretty secure. And if you're using a smooth metal, I suggest not using that, even though it's stronger, just because hot glue doesn't really stick well to metal. You can use super glue or something, then you can use those metal cups. But if you don't use super glue with the metal, I suggest just using plastic. So now what we're going to do is make sure the straw can go through this. A-okay. Let's check. Alright, so it's getting in really snuggle. So that's a great thing. So now what we're going to do is, I'm going to leave pretty good amount, not a good amount, but a little bit of straw left. And we're going to cut this bottom part. It's a little bit tilted, but that's okay. At least it's going down. Can't speak today, please. Alright, now what we're going to do is we want to hot glue it, but we have to be extremely careful. Because you don't want to hot glue the straw inside, because then no water will come through. So let's hot glue it from the bottom first. So just like almost all the other straws, we're just going to hot glue it around. And don't worry, straws are a little bit hard of a plastic to melt to the hot glue. So now we've done that, we want to take this straw that we've been holding on to, and we're going to want to get it into this hole. So we can fit that right through easily, hopefully. There we go. And what I like to do is, I don't want it to go exactly up, so I'm going to just raise it a little bit and tilt it to the side, as you can see. I don't want it to go up interfering with the regular stream, so when it's about to go into this cup, it doesn't look like it has bubbles. So it's going to be twirling up, but that's much better. So then now what we're going to do is, we're going to try your best to get it in there, but I'm not going to do that. If you want, you can do that. I just don't want to risk it, and my hot gun is just not that long. But if it is, do you. Whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to stay on the safe side. And yeah. So now what we're going to want to do is Make sure everything's okay. Last minute checks. Everything alright. Now we're just gonna have to. It is a risky move, but I am willing to take it. Now I'm just gonna flip this upside down, hoping that this suction cup is going to hold up. Now remember, we're just hoping here. We're just gonna go on one side slowly. Alright. Now the way we're going to get more water into this is because it's not going to have all the water already, because there's just so many cups, right? So what we're going to do is that we're actually going to get that first entrance into the, we're not going to use the big cup, we're going to use the smallest cup where the vortex is going to be, or it's supposed to be. So we're just gonna let that cool right now. It is a little bit wonky, that's alright. So this is the final result of the fountain, and I hope you enjoy how it turned out. Let me just plug it in. And here we go. So what's happening is that the pump under here is pumping the water into here, which I dyed blue. It's now going into these two straws, and it's emptying out into these two plastic containers. And then it's filling up into these two straws, which is going into there. And I've drilled a hole in the bottom with the straw that's going back into the container. And the pump is now picking up that same water, and it's recycling the whole thing again. So I hope you enjoy.